We'd like to call the second meeting of the 2025 Interim Commission on Race and Access to Opportunity to order. I want to thank our staffers, Brandon White, our commission assistant, lead staff, and Logan Schaff, our committee assistant. I'll ask Logan to call the roll at this time.
Senator Berg. Senator Herron. Here. Senator Tishner. Here. Representative Brown.
Here.
Representative Heverin. Representative Kulkarni. Ms. Baird. Mr. Davis. Mr. Pryor. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith-Willis. Co-Chair Mays-Bledsoe. Here. Co-Chair Jackson.
Present. We have a new member, but she's not here today, so we'll wait till the next time and have her to give us a little information on herself. At this time, I'd ask any members, if you have comments or recognitions, this would be a good time to do that. Seeing none, I do want to encourage our members to attend the tour immediately after today's meeting. I know it's hot, but K-State has an air-conditioned bus to carry us around from one building to another, so we appreciate that very much. So if you can at all, we would appreciate you staying around for the tour. We'd like to keep our meeting to about 50 minutes if possible, and then we'll have about 45 minutes for the tour, and that'll get us in and out in a normal about an hour and a half's time. So hope you can stay around for that. All right, at this time, I think our first group is from Kentucky State University, Dr. Acapo, and if you have anybody with you, please go ahead and come to the table. He's waving people in off of the bridge to come and be company with him at the table. Dr. Acapo, we appreciate Kentucky State University hosting us today. It's always nice to get off of our campus and go somewhere else, and it's nice to be on your campus today, and I look forward to the tour a little bit later on. So if you would introduce yourself and your guest can introduce himself, be sure that you hold the button down, I think, to make sure that we can all hear, and you may proceed.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to address you this afternoon. It is truly an honor and a blessing for us to have you on our campus. My name is Kofi Acapo. I'm the 19th president of Kentucky State University. I've been here for exactly 24 months and 29 days.
I'm Michael DeCourcy. I serve in the capacity as the Vice President of External Relations and Institutional Advancement here on campus. And Dr. Acapo interviewed right there at that podium where you all are up there today sitting in this room. So I'm sure it brings back a good memory for him. We're thrilled to host you. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to answer any questions at the end.
Thank you, Mr. DeCourcy. I think my slide would take about an hour. Just kidding. I have a short slide for you here just to first talk about the enduring value of HBCUs. HBCUs expand opportunity across the nation, and Kentucky State University in the Commonwealth focuses on four key areas: workforce development, innovation, civic leadership, and economic mobility. So the value of HBCUs, as you may know some of these statistics, but they get updated every year. Even though we enroll 10% of our Black undergraduates, we award nearly 20% of all degrees to Black students. And despite the fact that we represent only 3% of the college and university population in the country, we graduate 40% of all Black engineers, 50% of all Black teachers, and 70% of all doctors and dentists, and 80% of all black judges. As you can see, our impact on our country is huge. And we also serve as an engine of vocation and upward mobility. How about Kentucky State University? We were founded in 1886, and we also hold a dual role of regional comprehensive university as well as a land-grant university committed to access, excellence, and impact. HBCUs are national leaders in education, growth, and social mobility, as I mentioned earlier. So since my arrival, we have been working on these three patterns: enrollment, partnership, and program. So from academic year 2023-2024, when I arrived, enrollment moved from 2,100 to 2,800 last year. And this, I need to go back. This is annual unduplicated headcount, 2,800. But as I shared with you many times, one of Kentucky State University's problems is we are built too small for the capacity we have now. So for us to break even, we need 3,000 tuition-paying students on campus. We're working on it, but when we go on a tour, I will share with you some of the challenges we're facing with the environment and the deferred maintenance. Dual credit is another area where we have seen a significant improvement. 2023, when I arrived, we only had 7 partners, 7 high school partners. As of this summer, we have 26 partners. And I've been going to the high schools myself with the provost, and we're working so hard to get students to know KSU. As I shared many times, I was in Anderson County, the county next door, and students don't know what KSU is and what KSU does. So we're trying to change that by having an outreach to all the high schools and all the community colleges as well as some community organizations. So we also have started a new initiative, that's the prison education program. We got approval from our accrediting body and CPE to start with 2 prisons, Rotorua and North Point Training Center. So we launched our first year experience course with 40 students. English 101 and English 102 were offered, and courses were delivered via secure tablets. And as you can see, the enrollment, where we had 76 students in the summer, 117 projected, and we have 162 that we're working on right now. Last week, I was invited to Local Martin. They lost a higher ed partner, and they would like KSU to help them out. So hopefully, fall 2, we will start a pilot program there as well. We have been busy, as House Bill 250 requested us to do, to look at some of the programs that we have, eliminate the ones that are not viable, and start new programs that will allow students to have a job upon graduation. So as you can see on the slide, we look at 18 programs to determine marketability, and 5 newest programs were created as a result of that. So since fall 2023, KSU has its own manufacturing engineering program, and we got approval for a bachelor degree in agricultural engineering, a master in biological and agricultural engineering, which we just recently got approval for, masters of social work, as well as arts and criminal justice. We redesigned our Masters of Education program online. We also are in the final stage of redesign our teacher education program. We're working on it actively as we speak. We also are happy to report that June 1st, we started our own KSU Online, which I call Thoroughbred Global. We started with several bachelor degree programs from business administration to cybersecurity, psychology, and RN to BSN in nursing. So we also, this slide I keep getting wrong, sorry about that. So we also have added some graduate programs. So we have MBA now fully online. We have interdisciplinary behavioral science online and criminal justice online. We also have postgraduate degree, which is a DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice online. And finally got approval for Masters of Social Work and fully online starting this fall. So we also, you all know how much I've been begging for our nursing program. That's our fastest growing program on campus. But one thing that set our nursing program apart from other institutions is we don't want to just train nursing students. We also make sure we have a job for them at the end. And I will give several examples. We have worked with UK Healthcare, and UK Healthcare pay for the tuition, and upon graduation, a job is waiting on this student at UK Healthcare. We also have worked with St. Joe. They pay for the tuition, and upon graduation, these students have a job waiting. We have worked with Norton in Louisville, and they will pay for the tuition, and upon graduation, the student will go straight to work. And we're also trying to add more partners so our students have more options. So the nursing building is still high on our list, but one other thing that we have started last fall, and then it got stalled because of the change in administration, but we finally made some revision to the project and got approval. So we strongly feel at Kentucky State University that broadband should not be the only thing that goes the last mile. We want to take healthcare to the last mile, to people's doorstep. When we look at East Kentucky with the mountain, folks living there don't have direct access to healthcare. So we have one of our mobile units that will be based on Hazard campus and going around and helping provide healthcare, not just the healthcare preventative steps to our brothers and sisters in the mountain, but also to train them on nutrition, healthy eating, diabetes prevention, and we also have units going to the west side of the states and one unit in Louisville as well. So my hope is to add 2 more, because when I came up with this initiative working with the team, I forgot about Central Kentucky. So I got reminded that Central Kentucky needs one as well, which we're working on to get the approval from USDA to take care of. This is a brief design of the building that is going to help host our nursing student, as well as our lab in agriculture. We're sitting in our land grant building here, but as you all can see, the space is not big enough. And KSU, many people don't know that, but KSU is the 3rd research institution in the Commonwealth, right behind UK and U of L. In terms of research dollars brought to Kentucky, KSU is also number 3. And our hope is to continue that great work. So this building is not going to be just for nursing, but it's going to include space for agricultural research. We do research on cancer, on diabetes, and something that we would like to expand and embrace the president's vision of making America healthy again. So we also, the land grant program is our biggest program, and we are present in all 120 counties. That's something that many people don't know as well. Our extension workers are everywhere in our Commonwealth, and we also do research throughout the Commonwealth. And I will brag about one of the research projects that was done here last year. When President Xi came to San Francisco to meet with President Biden, they could not agree on anything. Agriculture was the only thing they agreed on. So the ensuing years, some of us were fortunate to be invited to go to China for a U.S.-China Ag Roundtable. During the meeting, a point was raised, which I did not know until last year, that our soybean is the most loved soybean in the world because of the level of protein. But then Chinese have raised the concern that the level of soybean, the protein in the soybean has been declining. So they're looking up to us researchers and educators to come up with a solution. So we came back, and I was in my office 3 or 4 days later and got a visit from some of my faculty asking me to come to a presentation the next day. So I wasn't sure what to expect, and I showed up and discovered that KSU faculty already have found a solution. They discovered the problem and came up with a solution to train farmers across the Commonwealth to know what to do to keep that level of protein high in our soybean. That's what we do every day. That's what makes me very proud of the work we do every day. I will now stop for time's sake and welcome any question you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Capo. I was talking to you earlier, and I want to congratulate you on your first 2 years here at Kentucky State. I hope there's many more to come. I was in the education meeting 3 weeks ago when you were testifying there, and I bragged on you how well I thought you did. That was not a real comfortable situation at times, but you handled it with grace. You didn't dodge any questions, and I appreciate that. And it sounds like things might be turning around a little bit with the number of applications, the number of people that are applying for jobs here, so that's always encouraging. So I guess my takeaway from this, would you say the nursing building would be your top priority from us as a legislature? I know you mentioned something about $50 million. I think right now nursing classes are in the gym, am I right?
That's right, that's correct.
That doesn't sound ideal for nursing classes to be in the gym, but how many students would you think, if you had a new nursing facility, how many new students would that possibly bring into Kentucky State University?
Well, as I said, it's the fastest growing program, and as we speak, we have between 300 and 400 students in the program out of 2,800. So it's the biggest program, but this building is going to help double and triple that number. I am very confident because the space is currently limited for us. And for the tour, I will have the opportunity to take you to our current nursing building for you to see it. We cannot fit 24 people in that building. With air conditioning not working, windows cannot be locked, and then the doors, barely you can lock the doors, but I will show it to you. But with this new building, I can assure you we will double, if not triple, the number of students in the program.
Thank you, Dr. Capo. Committee members, questions, comments? Senator Mays Bledsoe.
Thank you, Dr. Capo. You know, I have so much great respect for you. I've been following your career for a long time. You were exceptionally successful at BCTCS, and you've done a great job here in just 2 years. And you've said in the very beginning this was not going to be a quick turn. You have to right this ship, and it takes a long time to get where we're going, and you're taking us there. So you mentioned in the Education Committee meeting that you are moving more towards a STEM approach. Can you talk a little bit about the strategy behind that?
Well, thank you for the question. The strategy is when I came, nothing wrong with liberal art, but our programs were mostly on liberal arts side. So we have to diversify. When you take one example, engineering, our students also deserve to major in engineering program. We have many students interested, and when we started the program, I have to be honest, I was expecting 12 students, and we had more than that. For this fall, I was with the chairperson yesterday as we cut ribbon for Nero Company here in Frankfurt, and she's talking about 36 new students. And we don't even have a space yet, because we're trying to renovate a space that will be our engineering school. So it's moving really fast. When we look at ag, land-grant is another great asset for us, but we did not have many degree programs in that area. So we're trying to realign all these degree programs to make them not only easy to understand for student and parent, but also to matriculate in this program. That's why you see agricultural engineering, you see biological engineering, and we did not choose to do this just in a vacuum. We look at the great associate data that was provided to us as a result of House Bill 250, and the programs that are in demand in the Commonwealth, those are the programs we're pursuing. And another one that I will be talking to the legislative body about during the session is PhD in agroecology. We all agree that we have problem with the climate. The heat that we're facing today is unusual. So this program is going to help train our farmers in the Commonwealth on how to adapt to this new reality. No university offers this program in Kentucky. Not many in the region even. So KSU want to take the leads and offer this program where we will be on the ground helping our farmers. And it's a program also that does not cost any penny to the states. The funding is coming from feds. Even the funding is coming with scholarship as well. So it's going to be cost neutral to the state. So these are the type of programs that we're adding. Even our computer science, we're taking it to the new level to make sure the students, when they come to us, they have the end in sight, they have a job waiting, or they don't have to look for a job for too long.
I think that sounds great. And I appreciate the alignment, which seems to maximize the resources you have with the demand, which I think is a good thing. Quickly, touch on the teacher education program. Do you feel good about your new strategy there too?
I feel really good. I just hired a new chairperson, and I'm very excited that we're going to transform this space completely. You know, I was invited to testify to Education Board. The way we have been training teachers have been great to some extent, but things are changing. You know, teachers, when I went to school, or when we all went to school, we went to learn. We did not go with social needs. But today in the classroom, the social needs are real. I can tell you some days I feel like I'm a social worker because the kids come to me with needs that I'm not prepared or equipped to address. And the same teachers are facing in our P12 system. So we want to train the teachers of today to be ready to embrace to know what the expectations are in the classroom, because it's no longer the same. And so we're doing this realignment to make sure the teachers who leave Kentucky State University are well prepared. And I have someone who understands exactly what I'm looking for and who's going to help me put that in place.
Senator Herron?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation and giving us an update on the work that you all are doing. I think it's very important, the dual credit and the PEP program as far as extending your education outside of the walls in the campus. So those are two things that I'm interested in. One, can you get us a list of those 26 partners you have with that dual credit? And then are you all with the prison education program, are you all doing any type of long-term research or following those individuals who participate If you're not doing that, I would encourage you all to see if you can do some type of long-term study or following those individuals to just see what that outcome is with people behind our jails and prisons, getting that education to see if that has an impact on recidivism or just their behaviors once they're released.
Thank you, Senator. We have not started the research, but it's part of the agenda. This is our true second semester doing this, but the plan is to make sure it's not just a degree for them, but we also help them with the transition. I will send you the dual credit information, and you and I can talk offline as well. Thank you.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a couple of questions. I think, let's go to your slide, the enduring value of HBCUs. Back the other way. Yeah, I think it might be. Well, let me just reference that for a minute. I think it's very important when we talk about HBCUs, the enduring value that you had on that slide. I think it's important to understand that only about HBCUs enroll 10% of black undergraduates, but award nearly 20% of the degrees. And that it's worthy of note to understand the discussion that we're having in talking about, or that's being put forward in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and talking in terms of minimizing the level of competence that has come from HBCUs and graduates of HBCUs. I think it's noteworthy to note the representing only 3% of colleges and universities population in the U.S. HBCU graduates, 40% of all black engineers, represents 40% of all black engineers, 50% of all black teachers, 70% of all doctors and dentists, and 80% of all black judges. I think it's really important, and I think there's another statistic that I've heard that about 80% of the African Americans that receive terminal and postgraduate degrees graduated from HBCUs. Can you speak to that?
I don't have that data specifically, but I can look and discuss that with you offline.
I just would like to say that in contrast to the discussions that we've been having in this country about diversity, equity, and inclusion, that we have to hold up and we have to speak to the excellence that has come from HBCUs and the fact that HBCUs were founded in the late 19th century and they were founded to educate freed, enslaved Africans to come out and primarily in the education field to teach African Americans, students, and I'm one of those. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm very appreciative of the shoulders on which I stand, and that so many of us stand, that have come to this place that our ancestors wanted us to have, and then they pushed for us to have this place. So for all African American students, let's not forget, and let's not allow ourselves to be demeaned by people who don't understand this culture and don't have any idea of what HBCUs are all about. So thank you for the information. I think it's very important that we have this in the records and make sure that we don't apologize, for the work that we've done. And we've been given straws to dig holes and to build the foundations that we built, but we haven't been given the tools to the magnitude that we have needed. So I just wanted to say that thank you for your presentation, Dr. Capo, and Mr. DeCourcy. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Brown. Senator Tichenor.
Thank you. I wanted to go back a little bit to your teacher education program and your reference to addressing social needs in the classrooms. We have seen a shift at the post-secondary level to start bringing in more focus on social needs. And at the same time, we're watching basic literacy and math fluency decrease coming out of our K-12 institutions. Can you speak to what you're seeing of students that are entering KSU and the remedial courses that you are having to offer. If we're seeing that across other institutions as well, that a lot of students are coming and needing a lot more assistance to get those basic skills.
It's, I would just put it this way. I came to KSU fall of 23, and the first thing I discovered was we had over 100 students with 0 GPA. So it shows you the lack or the deficiencies were mostly in the area of English and math. So what KSU is trying to do is to implement what we call a co-requisite model, where we have extra support in the classroom, have tutors in the classroom, because some are at this level, some are at this level. Our goal is to bring everybody to the same level. So the ones who are struggling, the extra support in the classroom will be working with them. And then after every session, they can also meet and have another class meeting to just bring everybody up to the same level. And what I have done at BCTC was to add something we call spotlight instruction, where they can have extra additional support outside of the classroom to get everybody to the same level. And what I was also alluding to is what we want to do is to truly train these teachers to be ready for that. When I present to the Kentucky Board of Education, I had some statistic with me that way concerning. We always think teacher pays are bad, which is they're not high. But when you ask teachers the reason why they're leaving, salary is not number one. It's never number two. The reason is supports. They need more supports in the classroom. And also, I have to report, I happen to have a teacher in my own house. My youngest daughter is a teacher. Every night when she comes back, boy, her job is as hard as the president's job. She's then trying to get ready for tomorrow, and she comes home sometimes frustrated because some days you have disruption in the classroom. And how to, now after 4 years, she kind of understand it, but when you send a new teacher into that environment, we want to make sure at KSU, when they leave us, they're ready for the job. Their dream is not turned into a nightmare. Thank you.
Dr. Akapo, we appreciate what you do. We appreciate your presentation and your hospitality today, and we wish you nothing but success. We want Kentucky State University. This commission wants Kentucky State University to be very, very successful, and I think you're the guy to lead this university to that success. And I hope you'll continue to work with our friend back here, Travis Powell, on House Bill 250, get all the things straightened out on that, and we'll be there. If you need us, give us a call. Thank you very much.
He's been nothing but a great partner. Thank you.
At this time, Dr. Smith, Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer at Simmons College, will come forward. Dr. Smith, if you would, welcome. And if you would, just introduce yourself, tell us what you want us to know about you, and tell us about Simmons College, please.
Well, thank you. Again, thank you so very much for welcoming me today. I am Dr. Frank M. Smith, Jr., serve as the Senior Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for Simmons College of Kentucky. I've been with the institution for 18 years, going on 19. I'm also the Vice Chair of our Kentucky Commission on Human Rights in my third term. So I have an affinity for commission work, and I commend each of you for what you are doing and what we are trying to do together in this Commonwealth. I'm also a senior pastor. I have served for 25 years at church I established in year 2000, Christ Church for Our Community in Louisville, and also pastored before that 7 years at another church. So I have good knowledge, a good working knowledge of the faith constituency, having served previously in two tenures as president of the Louisville's Interdenominational Ministerial Coalition. So this work that we're doing at Simmons has been a joy of mine, and being there from one building now to many properties. I'm grateful for the progress that we have experienced. I want to mention I come today representing our president, Dr. Kevin W. Cosby, who is in his 20th year as our president. He had an operation on Monday and will be in some recovery time, but he sends his greetings by way of myself today. Had he been able, he would have been here himself, so I wanted to express appreciation for this invitation. I must say I commend the work of our sister institution here at Kentucky State in being on this campus today. Our histories are connected as institutions. Originally, Simmons was supposed to be located on the Hill property here in Frankfort. The founding body, the General Association of Baptists in Kentucky, sold this property to the state. Our second president, William J. Simmons, was the first black to speak to the state legislature about appropriation for higher education for blacks. At that time, he was the president. Our institution was called State University. He was seeking appropriation for our university. However, the state decided to go with starting a state-controlled institution. So we have some interconnection with the success and the progress. We started in 1879. We were chartered in 1873. The idea was established in 1865. We started as Kentucky Normal and Theological Institute, then State University, then Simmons University, now Simmons College of Kentucky. We are striving for university status in short order, and we are developing master's degrees that will be our last hurdle. Let me proceed, and we've been through some of this, so I'm not going to be redundant. We understand the mission of HBCUs was to provide black Americans that were not allowed into various institutions that we would consider white for higher learning. This is why these institutions began, and so the construct of what we're seeing and the value of these institutions, as you have alluded to, Representative Brown, has everything to do with seeing the context, the crucible of which these institutions were established, and also noting how they can be just as critical for resolving the plight and the blight of black communities in our nation today. We're finding that students are seeking out the cultural experience of HBCUs, given the political climate, given the challenges that we're seeing, and they want to be in an environment where they're nurtured, where they're understood. They don't have to filter the learning experience through other factors. So we are grateful at Simmons to have evolved into an institution that allows for that. Last year, we started our fall semester with 509 students. When I went to Simmons in 2007, we had 30 students, and all of our students were above the age of 45, roughly. And now, this year, we have our largest incoming freshman class. I just left them. They're in freshman week. We call it SOAR week because we are the Falcons. And we have over 90-some freshmen that have come in this academic year. So our enrollment, my report I received yesterday this year, which I'm just very excited about, 639, and we're still enrolling, and we may have over about 650. And so we're just excited about the growth. We have over 18 states represented in our enrollment. We know about some of these education impact factors, as has been alluded to by Dr. Capaco. We want to also highlight how HBCUs contribute economically on the U.S. economy. 14.8 billion, the jobs that are generated, lifetime earnings that are available to HBCU graduates, and that we are contributing to the success of so many that otherwise may not have had the opportunity. HBCUs were the main vehicle to move people into the black middle class historically through literacy, and that is still necessary on today as we look at lifting redlined communities, marginalized communities who have not had the opportunities that other more affluent communities have experienced educationally, socially, economically, etc. So we help to contribute bringing people into an environment of participating in an economy that otherwise they might not have experienced. It is important to note, and I say this candidly, and I want to commend our sister institution. Often people look at historically black colleges and their challenges that come, but when you have been perpetually under-resourced, we know of the findings in Tennessee State, but when you have been perpetually under-resourced, my brother talked about digging holes with straw. It is a miracle of the attainments and the accomplishments that we figure out ways to still do the work. In our case, we are a private HBCU, and it helps us to have the faith-related constituencies connected to us with churches across the state. We are also the headquarters on our campus of the National Baptist Convention of America International, which moved from Dallas to our campus, purchased a 57-acre retreat center in the city of Louisville, and they bring tourism to Louisville annually in one way or another. It is because of us being an HBCU that we're able to attract them, but they bring a 3.5 million member convention to identify Simmons as their official college. Well, this helps with our future enrollment. This helps with the things that we are able to participate in beyond the faith sector. But if you look at this screen, you'll note the total combined endowment size of all predominantly white PWI institutions, $630 billion. But the total combined endowment size of all of the 99 HBCUs in the nation, $5.2 billion. And the higher numbers of those endowments are really reflected within about 5 institutions. The rest have minimal endowments. So at Simmons, we've recently established a Simmons Foundation, William J. Simmons Foundation, and it is our goal to raise $100 million in an endowment so that we can help with the perpetualization of the vision that we have worked so hard to develop. When I came to Simmons, my first 9 to 10 years had a $15,000 annual salary, and I worked. Our president did not accept a salary for so many years, but we have sacrificially worked to build an institution. And you mentioned, my president, brother, about a county nearby that still doesn't know about KSU. We deal with the same identity crisis in Louisville with people that do not know about Simmons. And so yet we have been able to grow and develop. So it's important to us to develop, continuing to develop this institution. There's some history about us. It's important to note that Simmons went for so many years without United States Department of Education accreditation. I happen to be one of the leaders that led our institution to be accredited in 2014. And being accredited in 2014 April the 13th of 2015, we were able to become the last designated HBCU in America. And so while we are, since 1879, in many ways, with the accreditation of 2014 and the HBCU status, we are new to receiving the federal funds of Title IV and Title III. And so if we could backdate all of the years we should have had those funds, we might have experienced similar growth as a private HBCU as has Kentucky State. So we're in catch-up phase. We had a student that talked about it. We're intending on catching up, catch up like mustard, if you could. We must catch up. That's the way we've looked at it. And so we've had a very aggressive schedule in our growth and our development. This is a quote that talks about Simmons by Booker T. Washington in his autobiography. He talks about the status of our institution, and there is a phrase at the very end that talks about, and is still a great educational lighthouse to a struggling people. That was State University, as you see about the fourth line down. As I've mentioned, that was our previous name. And so we are striving to be that lighthouse in urban Louisville and to impact and uplift the Black communities, especially in our local city, but not just limiting it to that, recognizing we are part of this national family of HBCUs. Simmons has 95% of on-campus African-American student enrollment. 94% of our students are Pell Grant eligible. 53% of our students are males, Black males. 70% of our graduates, 76% of our graduates first generation. 25% of all graduates earning more than $50,000 a year, and we're trying to increase through, as was stated, our degree offerings so that we can increase that earning power. And then 77% of all graduates gained employment or went on to graduate studies. Simmons, again, since 2014, we have grown to 15 degree programs, and there are 3 specialty programs. We have 3 Associate of Arts degrees: General Studies, Religious Studies, and Teacher Education, with an Associate of Applied Sciences in Early Childhood Education. Our Bachelor of Arts scheduled, you'll see Applied Mathematics, Applied Psychology, Business Administration, Cross-Cultural Communication, Interdisciplinary Studies, Music Performance, Religious Studies, and Sociology. Bachelor of Science degrees, Computer Information Systems, and then recently, in the last couple of years, we added a Bachelor of Science in Teacher Education. That degree program has been approved by the state then, and we have students enrolled, and we are now seeking the programmatic accreditation for that teacher ed program. We dedicated a facility in Louisville. We acquired it, and it is dedicated to the teacher education program. A couple of years ago, we added a Master of Science degree, our first graduate degree in the history of the college, in medical science. And this degree literally is the curriculum of the first year of medical school. So persons, we partner with Ponce Education, Ponce College, Ponce University, and Tiber Health. They are partners to do this work. And it is designed to help students who might not have been accepted into medical school. The algorithms and all with it of how it's designed, they have had great success. And we had our first 2 graduates from that degree this year. We also have a dual credit program with JCPS in Louisville and Presentation Academy. We have an Executive Leadership Academy, which is an accelerated program. And then we are in our 3rd year of prison education program. We are in 3 institutions: Luther Luckett, We are at North Point, and we're also at Pee Wee Valley Kentucky Correctional Institution for Women. And so we are strengthening that program, and we are excited about the graduates that we have already had. And I appreciate the statement from you, Senator Herron, concerning shoring up the services for the graduates afterwards. We are transition specialist is a part of our purview of hire, the listing, and we're in the process of just welcomed a new director of our program this morning to the campus before I left here, and to come here. So we are glad for this work in the prisons. This is a word about our Executive Leadership Academy, and we have students who are enrolling, and it's an accelerated program. All of them are receiving laptops this year. We're excited about funding we've received for that to help them. So some of our goals as an institution, as I've said, we're at 639 as of today. We do hope to be at 750 plus by next fall. We want to continue to expand our current degree programs. We do have an approved aviation program, aviation management program, and we're excited about that, and we're finishing building out that before we roll it out. But we are excited about that and working in partnership with the Academy at Shawnee, which is not far from a campus that we have attained, which I'll mention shortly. And of course, one of the chief things that we must do at our school is to build our athletic center. We have had a three-time regional championship for our girls basketball team, and they won our national championship last year, and practicing in a college-regulated court at the St. Stephen Family Life Center. But we know that we as a college need to have our own resources for the student life of our campus, and so building out our food services program fully, we are in dire need of that type of a facility. The last building built on our original campus was built in 1924. We built a 1950 building, 18th and Dumanil, but it's time for us to build to accommodate the experience. And as I heard my brother talk about the deferred maintenance, when you look at the capital projects that HBCUs need, it has been a critical point, and I want to express appreciation to Senator Robert Stivers, Morgan McGarvey, who is now U.S. Congressman, and Senator Gerald Neal, who worked with appropriations that would help Simmons as an HBCU be able to be acknowledged and accepted in the framework of the Commonwealth. We did not finish fleshing out all of our work with Kentucky State due to various transitions, but we want to, Senate Bill 270, we want to live that out further. And our provost was talking with me just yesterday about looking at some ideas about the nursing program and how we might be able to partner as institutions. This is just to kind of show you a map of our campus. When you look at numbers 8 and 9, that is our original campus that we returned to in 2007, those two buildings. Number 5 is the original Central Colored School, which we attained 3 floors. We need to put an elevator in that building for accessibility, but right now we have certain programming there, mainly administrative. Our number 1 building is our administration building. We just acquired building number 2, which is an Ollie Green Center. Building number 4 that you'll see up top is the Porter Education Center, which is where we do teacher ed. The significant factor is building 3. Through $6 million, we acquired the housing building of Spalding. Last year, we renovated the North Tower 4 floors. This year, we've renovated the South Tower, and we now have students in both towers. That particular facility was supported by ARPA funds that were federally given that were approved with the state budget director, that we have been able to house these students and get them in. So just this a week or so ago, we finished some renovation on the South Tower such that we could house those students, and we needed that growth desperately. So I'm grateful for the legislation and for that approval. Senator Stivers has been a great friend to Simmons, as well as others who have worked in those votes to support. And I want to thank you as legislators for what you have done to make some things work for Simmons as a private HBCU. We partner with the St. Stephen Family Life Center, Building 10, for many of our athletic and student gym physical workout needs they have. Building 11 was the facility that we built in 1950 and we moved out of in 2007 to the original campus, but now that building has undergone a $2 million renovation, and our entire music department, music performance program is there. We have outgrown that building for our band. Our marching band is at 100 now, and so we are now moving over to the Family Life Center temporarily with our growth this band camp last week. You'll see in the building number 12, Westover campus, want you to see our properties. The top 2 buildings on the right, Stewart Hall, Parish Hall. The building on the top left is the Ida B. Wells Hall, which is the original Central Colored School. We know later as Central High School in Louisville. The building just under that is the Porter Education Building, a $1 million acquisition that we do our teacher education program in. We own the lot underneath that building, which we had planned for housing, but now we've acquired a residence hall, so we don't need to put housing there. The Tolbert House is an acquisition, as well as the Mural House next to it, and we house visiting interim officials that we hire, professors that come, guests who come to visit. So those properties have been most helpful. 2014, we acquired the stone building to the right, which is our administration and library building. And the 18th and Dumanhill building, which we call Axton Hall, is the bottom. That's where our music department is. This year, the Archdiocese of Louisville donated to us the Christ the King Church facility, which is at 44th and Broadway in West Louisville, nearby One West, nearby the Westover community. And this is the building that we will be, it's in dire need of upgrades and renovation. And so we are starting our fund development. Our city appropriated $1.5 million. We need much more so that we can complete this. And this building will house our STEAM hub. We call it STEAM because the middle section, which had been used as the sanctuary of the church, will be our fine arts facility of sorts and a meeting area. But we want to put engineering and we want to put aviation also and other factors of STEAM in this building. So I amen what President has said here from Kentucky State about us moving also into STEM educational opportunities. So this acquisition is valued at $4 million, and we're going to have to invest a lot. There's a lot of deferred maintenance in this facility, but it's not impossible with the things we've already done, we'll be able to do. This slide will show you our quest and dream. This is a conceptual rendering, but we need to build our athletic center and our student center, as well as additional education space. And so on the far right, towards the far front, you see our 2 existing buildings on our main campus. But in the midst of those 2 buildings and behind them is our proposed conceptual rendering of what we would like to build on our campus. And this will round out the college experience in so many ways for organizing our student athletes and the programs. We have two basketball teams, men's and women's. We have track, and we also are moving into volleyball. So we're wanting to enhance these experiences. I'm trying to close as quickly as I can. We are also moving into 100% online education in religious studies, general studies, interdisciplinary studies, business, and also our MS program. Great talk was mentioned previously about wraparound services. And we have a food pantry on our campus. Kroger has been a partner with us. You might have seen in the news just last week that they came and restocked the pantry for this fall. And that is a great need, just food and reducing food insecurity. We have a writing center on our campus that is growing, and we want to enhance. We have FACE. I can't remember the acronym, but it is all things academic excellence in shoring up the tutoring, connecting them to resources as students when they approach us, as President here said, with needs, we want to accommodate them. So I thank you. I think this is pretty much all of the presentation that I have today regarding Simmons.
Dr. Smith, great presentation. I can say I wasn't as familiar with Simmons College as I was with Kentucky State, but as an old girls basketball coach, I have heard of Simmons College. I just didn't know exactly where it was at. But I like the fact that you all have started slow and you've gradually, as you can, made progress in the areas that you see fit. And I'm very impressed with what you're doing at Simmons College. And I can tell you, this is generational change. I mean, one student at a time, whether it's 639 students in the whole school or, 2,000. But what you're doing is bringing about generational change, one student at a time, and it really will pay dividends. So thank you for what you're doing. We have a couple of questions. Senator Mays Bledsoe.
Thank you, Chair, and I echo his sentiments. I was lightly familiar, but that was a really good presentation. I want to hone in on just one aspect of some of my questions. The HBCU status that you just received, or 10 years ago received, that allows you to receive federal funding. Is that correct?
Yes, for the first time, Title III funding, which can be used to shore up various aspects. Some of it could be capital. There are 5-year plans that are written, and you work through those, whatever you draft and it's approved, and you work through those. There's a Part B, Part F. There are other aspects of Title III. But we, historically, as a school, even though we had the HBCU history, we did not have the accreditation and all. So that opened up a world. For example, I began the program management for our renovation of Axton Hall. Project management, I'm trying to say. We used as seed money for that some $250,000 from Title III to do the roof and to do other things. And then that was leveraged, in our board chair at the time saw the needs of our deferred maintenance, and he contributed $4 million. But had we not started with the Title III, it would not have moved him to do. So we were blessed to be able to finish the renovation of that 1950 building, and to the tune of close to $2 million, as well as install HVAC, water source heat pumps, in that building and 2 other buildings. So things can be leveraged. Right now, most of our Title III funding is used for academic development and our students. the things that we've talked about with the FACE Academy that helps them to get the tutoring and all of those. So we work, those funds are critical, and we hope and pray that the federal government and all that's happening with the Department of Education will not in any way threaten those resources for our HBCUs. They are not nearly enough to do everything we need to do yet already. So we're glad to have that funding.
And then is the Pell Grant, thank you, is the Pell Grant funding only for the college, the post second chance program, or is there Pell Grants also being used at the school?
Available for all students. The significance of the Second Chance Pell was it was an experimental program that allowed those who are in prison education programming to be able to pay for their education and with Pell Grants. So that has had great success around the nation, and we're welcoming, glad to see Kentucky State and others, because those educational opportunities mean the world. Their GPAs, we found at Simmons, their GPAs were high, they were highly motivated, they're excited about the learning experience, and it has changed their lives. In fact, our data for African American enrollment, notice I said African American enrollment for on campus, because in the prison education program, so many of our students are white in our prison education programs, and they're benefiting from an HBCU education through Simmons, and this is common even on campus in other HBCUs around the country. So we're excited about being able to impact and bring that program, and it's well received and well appreciated.
Well, it's really interesting. I read several articles about the recidivism drops to like 45% in that particular program. So you've done a phenomenal job, I think, showing that it's going to be successful. And
Yes.
I find it, I didn't realize how many HBCUs were faith-based private institutions receiving federal money. That just,
Yes.
that surprised me. So I went down a rabbit hole a little bit and of how that was working out. And it's
Well,
really interesting.
Could I make some comments, just what you bring up to that? Because I think it is important that we take a strong look at, often the private HBCUs are looked upon with disdain in state or local governments, when the federal government has said clearly, you are an HBCU. The federal government gives Title III funding to private HBCUs. The federal government gives Title IV funding to HBCUs. There are many federal grants that are, we have a Connecting Minority Communities grant, which is, allows, the National Telecommunications, that Kentucky has been working on that. And we hosted a meeting at our Simmons campus of state leaders who are trying to get Governor Beshear broadband across the state, the Commonwealth. Well, we wrote our proposal, got approved, and we received it. But sometimes it's strange how state legislatures and through certain local, we've had it a challenge in Louisville. The reason we got the 1.5 was because we established William J. Simmons Foundation. And so the foundation was funded. But there have been challenges with funding the private HBCU when we are taxpayers and we're educating, we're contributing to the economy. So it's important that both the public and the private HBCUs we have in the Commonwealth are both regarded. There are some benefits to the private HBCU. There's some flexibility. There's opportunity for public-private partnerships. There's a litany of things that we can explore together.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, because that was a conversation that I thought was interesting, and I appreciate your willingness to share about it. It's something that we need to be cognizant of, and maybe have another conversation as a General Assembly about how we think about that. I thought it was interesting. And lastly, Chair, I'll just mention, in my also little investigative work on this little path, President Trump did put out an executive order in April of this year affirming HBCUs and their value to the country. So I read through that a little bit as well because I was also curious before coming today. So I appreciate your leadership and what Simmons is doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Last question, Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for your presentation. I've got a question, well, a couple of questions and then a comment. Can you speak to your slide on HBCU endowments and the difference in the numbers that are portrayed there?
It's a reflection, I think, on America that 92% of the nation's wealth resides in the hands of white America, and that is 2% in Black America. Philanthropy is often, I can't find the slide, bear with me, here it is. Philanthropy is often selective, and that's why, to many respects, Black America needs the federal government to right the wrongs and to push for equity, because those who hold the wealth tend to expend and share their wealth according to their own proclivities of interest. And in many respects, there is no diversification to consider that we need to go back and repair when the nation's, America was was the poorest nation, and through the cotton industry and through the production of that industry on the backs of enslaved people, the nation became wealthy. And when you start talking about repairing or dealing with the word that no one wants to use, reparation, we forget about how the wealth has been generated. Sometimes that wealth, people align. There are great philanthropy individuals who share with historically and Black-led and Black-governed institutions. But if 2% of the nation's wealth is in the hands of Blacks and the interest of a historically Black college reflects Blackness and Black excellence in America, then you see the disproportion. So there's a lot of work to be done to help people see that historically Black colleges, all of the statistics that President Akpoko has shared and myself show that we are a major force in helping uplift communities and individuals, helping to move people into the middle class that otherwise from marginalized communities might not have had that experience. So there's just a great, awakening that needs to happen. So if you can see the education impact or the economic impact of what HBCUs are doing and how they help to supply what we called DEI with professionals who were prepared in various liberal arts and other careers, we are still needed. And so that's something to really take a look at and help people in Kentucky understand that you have 2 historically Black colleges, universities. Let's look at those endowments over and against the other institutions here in the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. That was more than I expected. I think you handled that very, very well, and hopefully we can immortalize your words, because I think that you hit the nail on the head of what I was fishing for. one last statement or comment. In your opening remarks, and I think you attributed it to me, but I don't think I used it, but you talked about making bricks without straw. Can you expand on that? I mean, it's biblical, but I think it's important for this conversation for us to understand that at a deeper level.
You look at accreditation, and it's changing in the landscape, but there are standards that each institution that is accredited must meet in order to fulfill those requirements. And one of the leading challenges in the South, if you notice, most HBCUs are located in the South. They've been accredited by a regional accreditor that puts a lot of pressure on the financial thresholds of our institutions. And if you do not have the resources, or if you're under-resourced, then it's hard to fulfill those requirements. And so you're expected to do the same quality work, prepare the students, pay the faculty, retain faculty, provide campus experiences, provide housing, provide meals, compete with predominantly white institutions with decent space, educational space, and it costs to deliver that. And so we want the same results, the same outcomes from our historically black colleges, but often not the same resources are available. So there is a need for equity in how these resources are shared with our black colleges, so that there's a fighting chance. If you take what we have done with little, and if you were to put the same amount of resources and invest in HBCUs, then guess what? It would be amazing what kind of output could happen, because somehow we just kind of know how to make ends meet, how to survive with less, how to make things work. As I mentioned, faith constituencies, people who will donate to the food pantry, and people who will provide this or that because there's a built-in support system. Those things are critical to making up for some of the straw. What the analogy was, in biblical words, you had the Hebrews who were in Egypt. They were forced with minimal straw to still produce the same or more of bricks. And so that's what the analogy is talking about.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, for an excellent presentation, and thank you for addressing and answering my questions. I would hope that as a result of this conversation and what it is that we need to do going further forward, that it's about how to take less and do more with that. And HBCUs, to their credit, have been able to do more with less and have created an excellent, or produced an exceptional product. And I don't think it should be undermined in anybody's mind what has occurred in creating and producing the product. So thank you very much for your presentation. Dr. Capo, thank you very much for your presentation as well.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Continue the good work, continued success at Simmons College. Committee members, the next meeting will be August the 26th at the Capitol Annex. We will discuss small business and minority contracts. Let's take about a 5-minute bathroom break, just a little break, and we'll meet out here in the lobby. Is that all right, Dr. Capo? And we'll take the bus tour around campus. Thank you. We survived.